Where am I? A Florida teenager is accused of opening fire at a high school bonfire. What happened next might shock you.
Oh, oh, where am I?
There's a teenager in Florida, and he is accused of firing shots at a high school bonfire party. And once arrested, his only concern?
Yo, am I going to get posted on Facebook?
I go through the shocking allegations and what's next for this teenage boy. I'm Anjanette Levy, and this is Crime Fix.
It began as a normal homecoming after-party until gunshots rang out. Panic erupted, and deputies had no clear suspect until a social media video surfaced.
You know, almost every homecoming dance ends with an after party. Sometimes they get a little rowdy, but one homecoming party at Forest High School in Marion County, Florida, ended with gunshots. It was bad, and it led to a manhunt of sorts.
Oh, oh, where am I?
17-year-old Zachary Sarich is accused of firing multiple rounds at another teen while at a bonfire after the school's dance on September 28th. It was that video that actually helped identify him, which ultimately led to his own mother turning him into the cops.
I have no idea, bro.
Make a left. It's a maze back here, your first right versus exit.
Yeah, we're gonna go right now.
Hold on real quick. Every time I wrestle you,
Now, to understand how we got to this point, we have to go back to the very beginning. When Marion County Sheriff's deputies first arrived at the scene that night, they received information that a physical fight had started, and there were several eyewitnesses, but there was no clear suspect. But you know how things are these days. Someone had to have had TikTok recording or Instagram or something like that. So deputies, they found a social media video of Zachary Sarich with a gun, and they heard several shots fired in the background of the video. A still photo of that video was shared on the sheriff's Facebook page so the public could help identify the suspect. And one of the victims in this case actually told deputies that the shooter chased him as he fired the gun, and he could actually feel the bullets whizzing past his head. That is absolutely terrifying. Deputies wrote in an affidavit that videos appeared to back up the teen's story. 5 days later, Ocala police connected a detective with the parents of the suspect, and those parents positively identified the teen in the video as 17-year-old Zachary Sarich, their son and stepson. Further investigation revealed that Sarich deactivated his social media accounts after the incident and even expressed his plan to flee to Daytona. But on October 28th, Sarich's mom, she drove him to the Marion County Sheriff's Office, Criminal Investigations Division, and her son was taken into custody. I say, good for mom. Here's the body camera video of his arrest.
I have no idea, bro.
make a left. It's a maze back here, your first right versus exit.
Yeah, we're gonna go right now.
Hold on real quick. Every time I wrestle you, definitely.
Now, you might think that Zachary Sarich is shaking in his boots, that maybe he's a little bit scared since he was just arrested for several felonies, but instead, he is more worried about this.
Yo, am I going to get posted on Facebook again?
Not by us. I can't tell you what happened after I turned you in.
Who's the people that be posting with me?
We have an office called the Public Information Office.
See that car with the headlights?
They're, it's kind of looking at you.
So deputies walk Sarich over to the squad car so they can transport him to the Department of Juvenile Justice. That's basically the juvenile detention center.
Yeah, so come on this side. I'm gonna give you just a quick pat down, okay? So just come over here and just face the car. And you said you have a scrap of paper in your pocket? That's the only thing you have?
ain't sure to double check, but oh yeah, I got my bonnet in there. He told
That's
me
the
I
hat.
could put it.
Yeah. Yeah. Here, man. You good?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
In an interview with detectives, Sarich admitted that he was armed that night and he threatened to shoot at a group of individuals if they tried to attack him. In an affidavit, a detective wrote that Sarich told him that he tried to defend a friend and, quote, when he felt outnumbered, he clutched a firearm located in his waistband. While holding the firearm, he stated, quote, if all y'all run down on me, I will shoot.
5 days later,
drove
detectives
him
traced the teen
to
to
the
his
Marion
own home.
County Sheriff's
His mother
Office,
drove him to the sheriff's
Criminal
office. The
Investigations
tension was
Division.
unbearable.
Defendant noted that eventually everyone fled and he then heard the gunshots, but he insisted that he was not the one firing. But the cops, they are not buying that denial from the teenage boy. Sarich faces a long list of charges, including aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, possession of a firearm by a felon. He's only 17, remember. Possession of a firearm by a minor, carrying a concealed firearm, public discharge of a firearm, and use of a firearm during the commission of a felony. All right, so to talk about this, I want to bring in Jo Patudo. She is a law professor, and also she is launching a new YouTube channel called Prof. Jo Explains. So, Jo, thank you so much for joining me. This is not the crime of the century, but what disturbs me about this is that we have a young person running around with a gun in his waistband, going to a homecoming party, and allegedly he's accused of firing a gun. I mean, thank God nobody was killed. And then his mom turns him in. So, you're a former prosecutor. How important is that accountability piece of this, that mom, recognizes her son? The cops go to the house and she's like, yeah, that's my son. And then she drives him down to the police department and says, she hand delivers him. She's like, here he is.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's absolutely important. Taking responsibility for one's acts is probably the best way to get to a reformation and a change in how you operate. And I think it's really important for this kid to know that there are consequences and that his mother accepts that there are consequences. And I agree with you completely. Bringing a gun to a bonfire where they're celebrating homecoming is just awful. It may not be the crime of the century, but if you were the mother of one of those kids or one of the kids who was there, it's got to be traumatizing. So
yeah, and that's what bothers me about this. I'm a mom. My son is eventually going to be the age where he's maybe at a homecoming party, at one of these bonfires, and that is the last place, anywhere involving kids is the last place where anybody should be showing up with a firearm and firing it. So I'm like, what is going on with this kid?
I don't know. It seems to me to be crazy that you would think that your solution to being angry at another kid is to take out a gun and fire indiscriminately. I mean, he didn't hit the young person he was trying to aim at. Thank God he didn't hit anybody else. But that's really just kind of taking a gun and just firing blindly. Anybody could have been hurt. Anybody could have been killed. It's scary. You can't keep kids at home. You have to let them go out. You have to let them enjoy life to grow up. But boy, as a parent, to worry about anytime your child leaves the house, no matter where they're going, that they could be, in the middle of a shooting is really scary. I agree with you. Terribly scary.
Yeah, it is absolutely terrifying. And, the cops, I mean, they know Zachary Sirach. I mean, the cops in Marion County, in Ocala, they recognized him because Marion County, they're investigating this and they're like, we have to identify this guy. They have a screen grab of him from the bonfire. They put it out and they're like, please help us identify him. The Ocala Police Department, their cops, they're like, oh yeah, we know him. Yeah. We know who this character is. So they go to his house and the stepdad and the mom are like, yeah, that's him. That's our son, you know, and mom's like, yeah, that's him. And so I just can't imagine mom seeing this, and she, you know, it looks like he's been in trouble before. Obviously, he's got a record.
Yeah.
So mom having to deal with this, you know, probably turning him in might be the best thing for him, because maybe this will address some of the issues that he apparently is having.
Yeah. It's tough love, isn't it? It's got to be very difficult for a parent to do that. I mean, you're putting your son into the criminal justice system and he's being charged with felonies. It's got to be very difficult. But what's the alternative? You know, to sort of condone, to appear that you condone, to appear that you don't care. I mean, it is, I think, the highest action that a parent can take to show that you really care about your child. To hide him isn't a way to care about it. To pretend it didn't happen, to excuse it, certainly I don't think is the way to show that you love a child. So I commend the mother, and I really sympathize with her. I wouldn't ever want to be put in that position, but she was, and she did it.
What's kind of scary to me is that, according to the affidavit, they're writing that, you know, Zachary, he shut down all his social media accounts and he was going to flee. I mean, that was his instinct, was to flee, to cover it up. And of course, young people, that, you know, that's probably an instinct. That's probably maybe what they feel like they're supposed to do. I mean, they're scared, they freak out, you know, like, oh my God, how am I going to cover this up? How am I going to get out of this? But obviously, you know, mom was like, no,
Yeah,
that's not happening.
And that shows he's a teenager. How do you expect to flee and not get caught? How does shutting down all your social media help when your picture is already out?
In interviews, the teen claimed he was defending a friend, but investigators weren't convinced. Now he faces multiple serious charges.
There. What do you expect to do with the next however many years of your life if you think fleeing is the way to solve it? And what are you doing? But I think this is the signature characteristics of a lot of criminals. What are you doing taking the act and not thinking ahead to now what happens? I mean, it's like in the moment, and then you say, wow, now what? And then his response is, I'll run, although as though that's going to help it. I mean, in some ways, it really shows that he's young, but he still needs to face the consequences for it. I mean, not having consequences at 10 is not the way to handle it. So his mother was right, and it's a terrible situation, but you know, you got to make the best of it that you can.
Yeah, he's 17 years old, but 17 is old enough to know better. Yeah. Obviously, he's 17. He's probably pretty impulsive still, you know, a younger guy. But my question is, what is a 17-year-old doing with a handgun in his waistband? Why is a 17-year-old, you know, obviously a lot of people, they have guns in their homes. Fine. You know, keep them in the gun safe, keep them locked up. But how is a 17-year-old getting his hands on a firearm to take it to a party in the first place?
And
so
what
I think
is he doing?
A lot of questions.
Yeah, what is he doing taking it to a party? I mean, I don't think, obviously he shouldn't have a gun. He shouldn't be carrying the gun. But assuming those two things are true, a party isn't the place to think I'm going to need a gun. It sets it up for going really bad really quickly. If he didn't have the gun, they might have ended up in a fight. They might have been throwing punches, and I don't condone that either. But it wouldn't have been shooting and risking the lives of people. So I couldn't agree with you more.
And it looks like Zachary's already been in some trouble because he already had a warrant for violating probation.
Yeah.
So he was already, we don't know what he was on probation for, but he was already on probation for something else.
Well, and one of the crimes that they've charged him with is possession of a firearm by a felon. So he's got, and felon in Florida, as I understand it, can be the juvenile adjudication of a felony. So you come within that statute, even though you weren't prosecuted as an adult. But that shows that he's got something reasonably serious in his record already and was adjudicated responsible already. So, yeah.
So he's already a convicted felon at 17 years old. And now maybe
this.
a convicted felon yet again. He's innocent until proven guilty, but maybe a convicted felon again and might be going to prison this time around. We'll see what happens, but this is serious business.
It's serious business, and he's setting himself up now for a much more difficult adulthood coming forward. He'll have we think, two convictions on his record. That's not the way to start your life, to find a job, to, make stable relationships. I mean, he's created 2 strikes against him before he's really even gone out in the world. So it's really very sad. So again, I agree with you. It may not be the crime of the century, but it's the kind of crime that is really sad, really unfortunate, and nobody comes out ahead here.
No, definitely not. And let's hope that maybe this stops him and helps him rehabilitate and not just get worse.
I agree with you. Yeah.
That's my hope.
And I'm sure his mother feels that way too.
Yeah. Feel bad for the mom. Joe Patuto, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
So let's take one more look at that body-worn camera footage of Sarich's arrest.
I have no idea, bro.
At just 17, his actions could shape the rest of his life. Will he reform, or will these mistakes follow him into adulthood? The investigation isn't over.
It's amazing back here, your first right versus exit.
Yeah, we're going to go right now.
Hold on real quick. Every time I wrestle with
Yo, am I going to get posted on Facebook again?
not by us. I can't tell you what happens after I turn you in.
Who are the people that be posting with me?
We have an office called the Public Information Office.
See that car with the headlights?
They're it's kind of what they do.
I'm this one here right next to it. Yeah, so come on this side. I'm going to give you just a quick pat down, okay? So just come over here and just face the car. And you said you have a scrap of paper in your pocket? That's the only thing you have?
I made sure to double check. But, oh yeah, I got my on it in there. He told
That's
me
the
I
hat,
could put it.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. You good?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And that's it for this